So a lot of times people ask, well, how big should my goal be? Do you ever wonder how big you should set your goals? Anyone? Yeah? So how big should your goals be? Well, I had a friend who set really, really, really big goals. And he got really excited. But then it just seemed so overwhelming, he just never really got anywhere. And I have other people who set really small goals, and they achieved them, but they never got anywhere big. So what is a person to do? And I often wondered this myself. So this is what I call the success arrow. And so what I want you to do is I want you to set the biggest, most exciting, most inspiring goals that you can. And we'll just use money for illustrative purposes because it's easier to break down into small steps. But let's say your goal is to have a $10 million business. That might, oh my God, that's exciting. Oh my God, I'd love to have a $10 million business. Who here would love to have a $10 million business? Who here doesn't want a $10 million business? Yeah. You may think you don't. Here's the thing. Here's one of the interesting things about goals is that we may think, oh, and I'm not saying you do, that really you want one, but the reason you might think you don't want one might be because you think it's harder to have a $10 million business. It's a lot of work. I'd lose, time with my family. Who here has got those kind of concerns? And it could be true, and I'll guarantee you there's a lot of people who have $10 million businesses that don't have time with their family and do work too much, and they don't have freedom and all that stuff. But for me, lifestyle comes first, money comes second. That's for me. My freedom, flexibility is more important than money making. If money making was more important, I would work more than part-time. Right? But living a great life to me is more important. And I work the exact amount I want. I could work even less, but I work the exact amount that I want. And that's what I want for everyone. I want everyone to find work they love, work for themselves, work as much or as little as they want, and make crazy amounts of money. Those are the four things I want for all human beings on earth. So start with a goal that's really inspiring, whatever that is. Grow an email list to 100,000 people. Grow, get whatever the numbers are, right? Have a program that sells thousands, sell millions of copies of your books, whatever the number is, right? Start off with a big number, and then you go back to the beginning. And if you're starting from zero, then you want to set milestone goals along the way. So if your goal is to get to 10 million, what's the first goal? What is it? 100,000. No. Good guess. Yes. The first goal is to get your first client. Client number one, goal. Become a professional. You know the difference between a professional coach and a non-professional coach? You making money, yes. If you make $1 as a coach, you're now a professional. Professional just means you get paid to do it. Yes, so get your first client. Right, so you start at zero, then your first milestone goal is client number one. Right, then your second milestone goal might be a revenue goal. Maybe it's a number of clients goal, or maybe it's a revenue goal. Well, since our big goal is 10 million, then we'll stick with revenue numbers. So maybe the goal is to get to $5,000 a month. Maybe that's a good, solid goal. For a lot of people, that's as much money maybe as you're making in your job. And the great thing about a coaching business is it's very little overhead, high profit. Then your next goal might be to get to, $10,000 a month. And then your next goal might be to get to $100,000 a year, because I'll tell you, when you get to $5,000 a month, it doesn't mean it's going to be $5,000 a month and just, it doesn't go like this. Success doesn't go like this. Success really goes like this, right? Yeah, that's more of what it really looks like. Now, this is even my revenue. My revenue has gone up every single year, so in some ways it does look like this, but on a given month to month, it's all over the place, right? I'll do a launch, sales are up, then a couple months where it's numbers are low, and then some other big event that, where revenue, this is something I'll be teaching you later, is that events drive sales. Events drive sales. So you have certain events that make the numbers go up, and then you have time between events, numbers go back down. So, I used to struggle because my income was like a roller coaster ride in the early days of my business. And a lot of people think, I want to get away from that roller coaster income. Well, I still have roller coaster income, but now the bottom doesn't mean like, I'm going to lose my house. Now the bottom is I'm still crazy, making crazy money, and then I'm making crazier money, and then, so it's not a straight line, but we want to, just for milestone sakes, just think about this straight ahead. So $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, maybe $100,000 a month, then or $100,000 a year, then $250,000 a year, $500,000 a year, $750,000, $1 million, $5 million, all of it. You just have, right? Milestones. Make sense? So when it comes to setting your goals, you can set the goal to have a $5 million, $10 million, or $1 million business. I understand that for a lot of people, $1 million business seems huge. It was like crazy, mind-blowing for me to even consider that. Now it feels like $1 million. $1 million's easy. And I want to help you over these 4 days so that you can feel like $1 million's easy, or that $5 million's easy. Or maybe even 10 million. I need to get myself feeling like 10 million's easy. Maybe I need to get myself feeling like 100 million's easy. Yeah. Why not? Billions. Yeah. Okay. So go back to setting your goals, and the thing about setting these goals is time is mostly irrelevant in how fast you achieve your goals. We get so caught up in like, okay, my 12-month goal is to get to 100,000 or to get to 1 million or whatever the number is. Time is going to go by no matter what, and it's good to have like something to be shooting for, but don't get yourself all hung up on the timeline. I believe success is inevitable. Whatever it is that you decide that you want, you are absolutely going to have it. If you're willing to do the work in the world and you're willing to do the work on yourself, then the only mystery is time. How long is it going to take for it to happen? And the answer is, who knows? And it's different for everybody.